Hello everyone, I'm going to go over my Witch Necromancer that does 33 to 30 million full DPS on Guardian and Pinnacle bosses. So I'm going to jump into the talent tree after I say this. When you're leveling, you're going to want to use Raise Zombies as well as summoning skeletons while leveling. One of the problems while leveling this build is going to be that you cannot use summoning cast golems or any type of golem until you actually get to level 34. So you're going to have to supplement your damage with raised zombies so you could actually get to the summon cast golems. Alright, so I'm going to jump into talent tree and how I would level it. My first step is going to be Lord of the Dead on a talent tree. It's going to increase your damage for your minions and give you +1 and +1 to raise zombies and skeletons. After Lord of the Dead, you're going to swing over and you're going to pick up Sacrifice. Sacrifice gives your minions a lot of regeneration, life regeneration, health, and it gives you a little bit of health regeneration as well. Then, after Sacrifice, you're going to go down, you're going to get Grave Pack. You're going to ignore the minion offense mastery by Grave Pack early on in leveling. When you go to get that, you're going to be getting health and a lot of goodies while you go to get Grave Pack. Then after Grave Pack, you're going to swing around and you're going to pick up Redemption for more damage for your minions. And then you're going to get Sovereignty, and when you get Sovereignty, it's going to allow you to use more, probably use maybe 1 or 2 more auras. The first aura and the most important aura that you're going to want to use for leveling is going to be Purity of Elements. That is going to be your #1 aura that you want to use. And what it does is it increases the resists of elementals and it makes you immune to elemental ailments. I believe it's the best buff in the game, or the best aura in the game that you could have, especially for leveling and endgame. And the reason I believe this is because when you could remove any damage source from the game, I believe it is highly effective and worth your while to make sure that you could have it on your build. Then, after Sovereignty, you're going to pick up the health nodes. And the health nodes could be picked up in any order that you want. You could pick up Purity of Flesh, and then pick up the Life Mastery that I have. The Life Mastery I have by Purity of Flesh is 10% increased maximum life and 10 reduced life regeneration. It has a side effect, but it's still really good. Then you could go over and you could pick up Heart and Soul. And then after Heart and Soul, you could pick up Combat Stamina. Combat Stamina is armor, regeneration, and max life all put into one. And the mastery, the armor mastery, is 20% chance to defend with 200% of armor, which is pretty good because the second aura that you're probably going to want to be using on this build is going to be Determination and increase your survivability and your effective hit pool. So after you get that, you are going to start working on your block chance. So your next stop could be anywhere on the talent tree that you want. So your best bet, you're going to want to go and get Whirling Barrier. And what that's going to do is it's going to increase your spell block and your block chance while wielding a staff. So if you're using a shield and a wand, your layout will be different. The Ascendancy, not the Ascendancy, I apologize. The Staff Mastery by Whirling Barrier is 30% increased defense while wielding a staff, which is really good, and you can pick it up when you get it. Then you're going to want to go and get Steelward Stance, and what that does is it increases your block chance by 8% while wielding a staff, and the Staff Mastery recovers 2% energy shield and 2% life when blocking with the staff, which is really good. You can pick that up too when you get it. Then you're going to pick up not Mana Mastery, you're going to pick up Mystic Bulwark, which is going to increase your spell block chance. And then you're going to get Enigmatic Defense, which is going to increase your spell and block chance. After that, you could pick up Golem Commander anytime after you get level 34. So if you want to squeeze that in between picking up health or block chance, that's fine. And what Golem Commander is going to do is it's going to increase your Golem's buff effect, so you're going to be getting more physical damage reduction because you're going to be using Cast Golems, and it's going to give you a +1 to summon Golems. So you're going to have 2 Golems instead of 1 when you get Golem Commander. Then you're going to get Steeped in the Profane. Steeped in the Profane is going to increase your curses. And what actually you could get Steeped in the Profane, and then you're going to get Influence, which is going to increase non-curse auras from your skills. So it's a pretty nice buff to get. It helps your efficiency and your survivability a lot. It's a nice node on the talent tree. The anointment on this build is going to be Whispers of Doom because you're going to be using Temporal Chains and Despair. So you're going to have 2 curses and you're going to be hard casting them. Then I'm going to go over this. You are going to be using Mind. You can use Mind over Matter if you want to, but when you use Mind over Matter, you're going to want to be using Eldritch Battery as well. Eldritch Battery makes your Energy Shield protect your mana, and it does not protect you. It still protects you, but only if you're using Mind over Matter. And when you use Eldritch Battery, it makes summoning your skeletons much easier because you're going to have the mana to actually keep summoning them. It helps a great deal. But if you want to use Eldritch Battery with Mind over Matter, they both go hand in hand very, very well. Now I'm going to go over the clusters. The Cluster Jewel. The Cluster Jewel has the passive skill as Renewal. You could use whatever passive skill that you want, but I'm using Renewal. I have the best increased effect that you could have on it, and I also have the second best small passive skills, which is 3% increased attack and cast speed for minions. Make sure that you get the added small passives grant minions deal 10 increased damage as well, which is important. You're going to want to try to get adds 10 to 12 passive skills as well. You want to get as many nodes, as many talent nodes that you can for the cluster. Now I'm going to go over the jewels, and you're going to be using 3 primordial jewels to increase the amount of golems that you could get. So you need 3 primordial jewels. You could have any type of primordial jewel that you want to increase it, but all you need is 3. You could have any variant of it. There's 3 different variants of them. There's one that increases the attack speed of your golems, and that increases effective buffs granted by golems, which is really good, and the one that I use. And then there's another one that's makes your minions aggressive, which I also use. Those are the 2 that I use. And then there's another one called the Anime Stone that increases the amount of summon golems you get by 1. And this is the one that allows you to get another summon golem when you use 3 primordial jewels. I am also using a Watcher's Eye, and the Watcher's Eye stats are cast resist while affected by Purity of Elements, and what that does is it increases your cast resist while using Purity of Elements, which is really nice because getting cast resist anywhere on your build and getting it from this way is very lucrative, if you ask me. I think it's a great way to do it. And then I have phasing while affected by haste. What phasing does is it makes you able or allows you to run through everything in the game. So you can run through monsters, ice walls, you can run through everything. I believe this build is using Void Beacon as well for the Forbidden Flame and the Forbidden Flesh. And I will go over Void Beacon and after I go over the Ascendancies on the Necromancer tree. I am not sure if I have the Gaze on this build. I might not have. Alright, I do not have the Gaze, so that's a nice currency cut from the build. Alright, I'm going to go over the Ascendancies and how you'd actually take them while leveling to help you out. Of course, you could always pick whatever ones you want. I'm just going to explain the benefits and which way I would go for them. And then I'm going to go over Void Beacon for the Forbidden Flame and the Forbidden Flesh and how that works. You have Commander of Darkness. It increases your minions' damage by 30%. And it also increases your minions and your elemental resist when you get it. So when you're using Commander of Darkness and Pure Developments at the same time, you're getting practically like about 70 to like 65 to 60 elemental resist, which is huge while leveling. It should help you a great deal while leveling. Then you're going to get mindless aggression, and then your next step is going to get unnatural strength. Unnatural strength makes your minions have unholy might, and it's a very large DPS increase. And then you're going to get Mistress of Sacrifice. And what Mistress of Sacrifice does, it allows you to use offerings in the game. Typically, offerings is a gem that allows your minions to get stats from a gem. And there's 3 of them. There's Spared for increased critical strike and multiplier damage. Spell and block chance, which is bone offering, and then you have flesh offering, which is run speed and attack and cast speed. So you're going to want to use bone offering when you get Mistress of Sacrifice, and it gives you 24 spell block chance and 24 spell and block chance. When you actually get Mistress of Sacrifice and you start using bone offering, you're going to want to go down anywhere where you could get a minion offense mastery, and you're going to want to get 20 increased effect of offerings, which is going to increase the effect of Mistress of Sacrifice and the offering of bone offering when you put it on you. And it's going to be 7 spell block chance, which is huge. You also get block chance, but once you actually get all the nodes on the talent tree for blocking, you should have over the max of block chance. And one more thing, hold on, let me check really quick. Alright, that goes over the talent tree. I'm going to go over the skills really fast. And I'm going to start with the Vaal Skeletons. I'm going to go over the price and the variants and everything else. So, Vaal Skeletons 21 level gem is very expensive, so try to get a level 20, which is going to be much less in your currency in your piggy bank. So I'm going to assume that the Vaal Skeletons level 20 is going to be very cheap, probably about 1 to 3 divine, if that. Then you're going to have a Awaken Void Manipulation, which is about 3 divine, I believe. Then you're going to have Awaken Unbound Ailments, which is a divine or less. Then you are going to have Awaken Vicious Projectiles, which is, I think, about a divine and a half or under. Then you're going to have Awaken Minion Damage, which is probably a divine or under. Then you're going to have Multi-Strike, and it's a different variant. You do not need the level 21 variant of Multi-Strike, and I will definitely change that while I post the PoB. And what you're looking for with this variant is more quality. So the skeleton weapon is going to probably cost you anywhere from around 8 to 10 divine to actually get it going full power. And you also have 9 summoning skeletons when you have the build at full level or full talent tree. Alright, I'm going to go over the summon cast golems. And you have 4 summoning cast golems. The level 21 variant of summon cast golems, you want to have the default variant, is not expensive at all. It's probably less than a divine, much less than a divine. I'm using the same variant for Multi-Strike, and that's a divine or less. I have Awaken Unbound Ailments, which is a divine or less. Then you have Awaken Minion Damage, which is a divine or less. Then you have Awaken Melee Physical Damage, a divine or less. Then you have Awaken Void Manipulation, which I believe is about 3 divine. I did not look it up. And I'm going to go over how you have 4 summon cast golems really fast. You initially get 1 golem for being a player. Then on the talent tree, you are going to pick up Golem Commander on the talent tree, which gives you another +1 to summon golems, so that's 2. And then when you go into items, I went over this before and I'll go over it again. The Anime Stone, which is probably less than divine, is going to give you another 1. And when you use Anime Stone with 3 other primordial jewels, you get another golem, so that makes it 4. You could also use a flesh and flame if you want to actually get another golem, but it's not more damage than Void Beacon, but if you want another golem, you could get Liege of the Primordial on the Elementalist tree, and that'll give you another one. Or you could also get another talent ascendancy to get another one, which is called Necromancer. So it would definitely be up to you. Alright, I'm going to hop back into skills. I'm going to go over the gloves. We have Desecrate. The quality and variant don't matter. What this does is it allows you to use bone offering or your offerings when there are no corpses around. It also allows you to raise nothing. You're not using raise. Oh, you can raise your Spectres. You're going to be using Carnage Chieftains as well as your Spectres, which give you frenzy charges. Then you're going to have Withering Step, which increases your Withering stacks. And what Withering stacks does, increases your gas damage. And your primary damage that you're doing with your minions is going to be poison damage. So that's going to help your damage significantly. I have a different variant, and this is going to be expensive if you actually get a level 21 gem of this variant, but you don't need that. You could definitely get by with getting a level 20 of this variant Withering Step and be fine. All it's going to do is lower your Withering Withering stacks by 1. Then you have Bone Offering, which I went over. Then you have Purity of Elements, which I went over. All these should be pretty cheap in the whole scheme of things. And then you have Despair, which is your curse. You are also using Temporal Chains, which is another curse. You're going to be hard casting them, and you're going to need Whispers of Doom to actually get both of them going. Then I have Withering Touch to increase the Withering stacks to 15 for the build to do max DPS. And then you have 2 Raised Spectres. I'm just going to change the Raised Spectres really quick in the PoB. So just give me a second. Alright, there we go. Now I have the Carnage Chieftain set up in the PoB for you. None of these are going to be expensive for you. Then I have Normal Haste, Determination, Malevolence, and Flesh Offering for the helmet. And these are all going to be cheap, and the variants does not matter. I'm going to switch the Malevolence to default when I post it. And I have an Animated Guardian on a Hungry Loop, which I will go over right now. The Animated Guard I'll go over when I go over the items. So, and he is counted into the full DPS. So when you have the full DPS going, you're going to have 9 Vaal Summoning Skeletons or Skeletons. You're going to have an Animated Guardian. You're going to have 2 Spectres, and you're going to have 4 Chaos Golems. And now I'm going to go over the items. I am using the Cane of Kulmak, and what the Cane of Kulmak does is it increases your minion's life, damage, attack speed, and cast speed, and gives your socketed gems +3 to support gems and 13% to quality of socketed support gems. This is an extremely good item. I think it's the best in the game for minion types with golems or raised zombies or skeletons. It's my favorite staff in the game, and it's one of my favorite items in the game. And if you follow my builds or watch my YouTube channels, you already know I think this is the best item in the game because it gives you a significant amount of minions increased max life. The helmet has very, very good stats and everything. You could follow the stats on it. You do not need chances to suppress spell damage, which would decrease the amount of currency it'll cost. But it does not have an enchant on it. If you want to get an enchant for this for an helmet, you're going to be looking for skeleton damage or anything with skeletons or cast golems. And if you're having mana problems, you could also use mana reservation efficiency for any of the auras that you have. It's going to be pretty expensive to make it or buy it. The chest, what you're looking for is minions have 60% chance to poison enemies on hit, which is very important. It's a huge DPS increase, and I cannot stress how important it is. This chest is not expensive. The implicit for I believe the Eater is wrong. You could definitely get an increased aura effect for whatever you want on the build. You could do it for haste, malevolence, purity of elements. While unique enemies in your presence, 21% increased effect of non-cursed auras from your skills is going to be okay, or you could get whatever you want. The other stats on my chest are really good. The increased mana efficiency helps a lot, as well as on the helmet. So you're going to need a lot of increased mana reservation efficiency on your helmet and your chest to let you know. Now the Triad grips are all 4 white sockets, and what that does is it makes your minions do all cast damage. And when they all do cast damage, it bypasses energy shield and goes straight to the monster's health, which is really, really cool. The last time I checked, this was going for 4 divine. The I'm not sure if I went over this, but the staff typically goes from anywhere from 6 to 40 divine, so I can't really give you a price range on it. The helmet cost me 8 divine, and the chest was very cheap. The boots are a dime a dozen. Just look for whatever stats you need. I always look for more increased movement speed when I'm looking for my boots, and that's about it. You might be having dexterity problems and some resist problems, so make sure that you get the stats you need from your belts. I got these boots for like 3 divine orbs. The necklace is a very big cost item. The anointment on it is Whispers of Doom, which is highly important for the damage of your build, which is probably going to cost about 150 to 120 gas orbs to put on there, and you're going to need 3 golden oils to do that. And the item itself is a unique that makes haste have no reservation. So when you use haste, you do not have a mana cost for it. And you could get different variants of this necklace. This one cost me 30 divine. But you could also see if you could get a cheaper one in a variant of Determination or Purity of Elements. So there might be a different variant that's cheaper than this, but you want to make sure that you have the anointment Whispers of Doom. And the Whispers of Doom needs 3 golden oils to put on. I have a Hungry Loop that's attached to my Animate Guardian, and what the Hungry Loop does is it gives you 4 socketed gems, and so you could get any kind of gems that you want in your Hungry Loop. At the moment, I'm using Feeding Frenzy, Meat Shield, and Minion Life and Elemental Army Support. So when I'm using my Animate Guardian inside of the Hungry Loop, I get those buffs as well from that ring, which is really good. It's practically giving you another 4 link in your build for just putting it on as a ring. The other ring is a bone ring. The stats are very good. I paid a lot of divine orbs for this. You could definitely get whatever type that you want. And you could probably get a better one than I did for cheaper. So they're a dime a dozen. You could definitely pick them up. The belt is really good optimized. It cost me 5 divine. You can follow the stats on it or get whatever stats that you need to actually make your character better. And the gem in there is a Whispering Ghastly Eye Jewel. And the stats you're looking for in the Ghastly Eye Jewel is minions deal increased damage if you use a minion skill recently. And what your minion skill you're going to be using is Summoning Skeletons. And then this one is not optimized right, actually. You're also going to be looking for minions chance to poison. And then the last 2 stats that you're going to be looking for are minions deal cast or minions deal physical damage. Or you could get whatever you want. But minions deal cast and then minions deal physical damage will increase your whole DPS and your damage. I'm using some flasks. The blood, I prefer to use this because it recovers full life at the end of the effect. So after 2.5 seconds of using the blood for health regeneration while you're playing, it'll increase your life to full. This helps on maps with decreased health recovery. The flask, this is a very expensive flask. What it does is when hit during the effect, 25% of the life lost from damage taken occurs over 4 seconds instead. So pretty much what this does is makes you from getting blown up immediately. Like if you like ever played this game, or if you're going to be playing this game, creatures could just kill you in like a flat out second without you being able to do something. So what this class does is makes you a lot more survivable and be able to react to things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. I got it for 2 divine because I got it really early on in the league, but right now I believe it's going for about 8.5 divine, unfortunately. Then I have a flask that gives you block and spell block chance to increase my survivability and effective hit pool. And this one is being used when charges are full. The cool flask that's very expensive is being used when charges are full. You cannot put enchant on the blood or the health flask, so you're gonna have to use it whenever you feel like you need to use it or when you're in danger of dying. Then I have a Quicksilver run speed flask that is used on an adjacent flask. And then I have the Overflowing Chalice, which increases the amount of flask charges your other flasks get. I went over the jewels, so now I'm going to jump into configuration and tell you what's going on there and how the build actually works in the configuration and everything else. I'm using the Major God that gives you additional physical damage reduction and movement speed increase with nearby enemies by 8%. It only goes up to 8%. It also has other qualities to it as well that you could actually get while you're playing the game. And you could get those and they are very good as well. I'm using the Minor God that does not allow you to be damaged by bleeding while moving. I find this to be really, really helpful. I'm going to take this off right now so that doesn't matter. Okay, you are using Frenzy charges from Carnage Chieftains from Act 2. You have Elusive from Withering Step. You have 8 binary enemies usually, I think. Have you been hit recently? Yes. Have you been blocked recently? Yes, because you have a lot of block chance. Have you used a minion skill recently? Yes, you're going to be constantly using Summoning Skeletons. And you're going to be consuming corpses when you use Bone Offering. Do you have Feeding Frenzy active? Yes, you have it from the Hungry Loop and your Animate Guardian. Do you have Meat Shield going? Yes, you have it from your Animate Guardian Hungry Loop. You have 15 Withering stacks. You have about 9 from Withering Step, and then you have Withering Touch on your Spectres, so you should have around like 12 to 15 Withering stacks. Is enemy intimidated? Yes. You have that attached to your Golems, I believe, so that's an increase in damage as well. And the build is set to Guardian Pinnacle, and you are doing 33 million full DPS against Guardian Pinnacle bosses. It does different damages too. So if you want to look at that, you could look under enemy stats and go to, is the enemy a boss? And you could go to no standard boss and over Pinnacle if you want to. But for sake of the build and how I'm doing it, it is set to Guardian Pinnacle boss. And also, if you want to see the difference, I have Bone Offering going and I have Spirit Offering going. So when you take Flesh Offering off, the DPS will decrease, and I will have this off when I actually post the PoB, because this is just an option for you to use it to burn Guardian or Pinnacle bosses or just bosses in general. So I put Flesh Offering and Bone Offering up. But typically you're going to be using Bone Offering. And it will drop your full DPS to about 30 million on Guardian and Pinnacle bosses. Alright, I'm going to jump into the game and start doing some maps and explain what's going on while I'm playing. Alright, let me juice a couple of maps. Okay, that's juice. Alright, I'm going to do some maps to show you what's going on and how I play the build. I'll try to do some harder stuff so you can see what's going on. You're going to want to put Bone Offering up when you, or Flesh Offering up when you first get into the map. And then, you know, you just, when you see some creatures, you summon skeletons. You really don't need to like lay into the summoning skeletons because you actually have summon Golems along with your build that's supplementing their damage. So you could just like tap the summoning skeleton button and just zoom by them, and they should do the dirty work for you. There's a sanctum portal that I just ran into. So the build has some decent run speed. Just tap the not the raise, but the summoning skeletons. Make sure you're trying to keep up on offering. I know it's hard to remember. You know, just go to work on them. Here's the boss fight. I'm gonna summon my skeletons, and I'm gonna curse them with the Spirit and Temporal Chains. You could also use Vaal Summoning Skeletons too to kill him faster, and he is dead. I believe I have a full set of Maven invitations, so I'm going to jump in and do that really fast. This is more difficult, and I could probably die on this because you're fighting like 10 bosses at once. So I'll see how I do with the build. The build should be fine. You should be able to beat it with this build. You could use Bone Offering or Flesh Offering here. Like, after a while, you should get Vaal Summoning Skeletons going too. Try to make sure you're cursing everything and you're summoning skeletons in order to kill everything. My Vaal Summoning Skeletons up, I'm going to spawn it. I'm trying to keep up max summoning. I don't even know what killed me right there, but I guess I did. Alright, I'm going to go back in and see what I could do. Alright. Just trying to do the invocation for Maven. Those red beams are just going to like destroy me if they touch me. Alright. Everything looks like I'll be able to beat it, I think. Summon my Vaal Skeletons. Yep, it's done. Oh, awesome. Oh, this is great. This is just great. I got a Hydra and a Minotaur map. So I'm going to do those two really quick to show you what's going on with Guardian fights. I'm not going to change them in any way. I'm just going to go and do them. This build can handle juiced maps. This is a very narrow and map with very little room to move. This build should be okay doing it because it has very good efficiency hit pool.
You're all going to die down here.
I'm just trying to keep up Bone Offering while summoning my skeletons and letting my minions do all the work. I am just tapping summoning skeletons and making sure I have Bone Offering going. You could also use Vaal Summoning Skeletons whenever you want to increase your damage and your clear speed. The one thing I really don't like about summoning skeletons is that you have to constantly keep summoning them, because when you run away from them, they disappear or dissipate, and they don't follow you. I really don't like that. I wish that they would keep on following you instead of disappearing. I'm not sure if it's because they're running out of time because of their duration, or if it's because I'm actually going away from them too far. So I guess I could test that. I guess it doesn't matter. I'm still not, it's not that big of a deal, but just a little thing that irks me a little bit. Alright, almost to the boss. Now, if you wanted to burn the boss, you could always put on Flesh Offering. I'm going to put Flesh Offering up, and I'm going to try and burn the Minotaur Guardian as fast as I can here. Ouch. Yeah, you got me. He's extremely buff to the max, I believe, too. He's got, like... Yeah, he's really juiced up. He gone. Alright, I'm gonna do Hydra. And then I'll probably do the Elder, which is really not that great of a display of power, but I'll do her anyways to show you what. Oh, I'm glad I looked at it. This build cannot do life regeneration or mana or energy shield, so that's like the only thing that it can't do. Every other type of map stat or thing that you could have on a map is fine to do with this build. Just avoid no life, energy shield, and mana maps. I'm going to use Flesh Offering to go through the map faster, because when you have Mistress of Sacrifice, which is going to allow you to move faster when using offerings because of that ascendancy. And I'm just avoiding stuff.
You're all going to die down here.
I'm just gonna go back to the map and go in and try and get through it as fast as possible. Alright, I'm gonna try to hurry back up and go through the map. Some stragglers that I didn't even kill. Just gonna try and keep up my offering. You have your choice of Flesh Offering and Bone Offering. Bone Offering is the spell and block chance, which is about 32 for both of them, and then you have movement speed and cast speed from Flesh Offering. So if you want to move faster and go through stuff quicker, you could use Flesh Offering, or you could use Bone Offering for more survivability and efficient hit pool. As you can see, this build's pretty quick when you're using Flesh Offering with Mistress of Sacrifice. Alright, here comes the boss. Vaal Skeletons. Make sure that he's fully cursed. And he's down. He gone. He gone. Alright, I'm gonna do the Elder, and that should be the end of the video. I could do Shaper too, but the fight is so long and boring, I won't be falling asleep. Say, what the hell did he put this in there for? Alright, here we go, the Elder. The only chance I have of dying on Elder is the beginning of the fight. So I'm going to see if I could burn her right at the start of the fight before she could actually do anything. Oops. I got a little too cocky there. I should have been running around in a circle instead of standing right in front of her face. Alright, she's cursed. Alright, she actually got it off. I might die right here. Yeah. Alright. She went down pretty fast. I would say that was a decent amount of speed right there for the kill at the start. Everything else should be really easy now for this phase. I'm just gonna be killing the portals, and when she spawns, she should die really fast. You really don't need to do anything to kill the Elder. She's such an easy fight for minion builds.
You're all going to die down here.
I'm gonna spawn my Vaal Skeletons because I think that she's gonna come out of her cocoon. There she is. And she gone. Alright everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you watch again. Be safe and be careful because you never know when something bad's gonna happen. So try to enjoy life as much as you can. And I hope to see you in the next video. Please show some love and sub. Bye everyone, I'll see you in the next video, I hope.